Hey, she don't publish a motherfucking big dog. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sweet Pea here at Trade Masters for the Pipe Fitter series that we're gonna be having on YouTube. Probably some shorts on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Anyway, today you are on a special treat. We're gonna be doing a dummy leg layout. Today's gonna be an 8-inch dummy leg on a 10-inch 90 type 1, and part of the video is going to be going over some information that we're going to need, and then the second part is going to also be a hands-on version. I'm also going to teach you guys how to do this layout without having those expensive tools, things that you can get from Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Home Depot, stuff like that, right? So, like I said, this part 1 is going to be the informative side of it, and I will be referencing page numbers, that way you can find the information along in your blue book. So, like I said, today we're going to be doing a type 1 8-inch dummy leg on a 10-inch 90. So, our reference page for our blue book is going to be page 30. A few things you need to know about your 8-inch piece of pipe is the circumference, the OD, the radius, and then the A circumference. And we're going to get into why those are all important. So if you go to page 30, you can go to the pipe size 8-inch, right? Your blue book is going to tell you that the outside diameter is 8.625. That's going to be in decimal form. But to make it easier for yourself to find your radius, when you go ahead and put it in fraction form, which is going to be 8 5/8. So our circumference is 27 3/32. That's going to be, the circumference is going to be the whole, all the way around the piece of pipe. Our OD is 8 5/8, so half of our OD, or our radius, is going to be 4 5/16. That's going to be very important because we need to establish our zero, which we're going to get into once we do the hands-on portion of this. So your ordinate distance is going to be the A circumference, which is 3 3/8. What the ordinate distance is going to be the distance between your numbers. So this is where our ordinate distance and our ordinates come into play. This right here is our 8-inch piece of pipe. So you're going to be using the numbers 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 6, 4, and 2. So on page 44, you actually see what the measurements for your ordinate measurements are on page 44, which we'll get into that here in a minute. But page 41, I believe it is, you'll be able to see this laid out. And because we found our A circumference of 3 3/8, like I said earlier, that's our ordinate distance. So the distance between 0 and 2, 2 and 4, 4 and 6, 6 and 8, 8 and 6, 6 and 4, 4 and 2, and 2 back to 0, is all going to have the same distance, 3 3/8, because that's an 8th circumference all the way around the 8-inch piece of pipe. All right, so now that we have our ordinate distance between all of our ordinates, so you go to page 44, which all this information is readily available. Like I said, page 44. And it's going to give you the distance from the end of pipe to where your actual ordinate measurements are. So obviously 0 is at 12 7/8, 2 is at 14 11 16, 4 is at 19, 6 is at 21 7/8, and 8 is at 22 5/8. But for me, what I like to do is I like to subtract from the lowest ordinate, so which in this case is 12. The reason why is because I don't want to use as much pipe. Okay, so if you think about it like this, you're already using 1 foot and 7/8 to start off with, and at the end of the day, you're going to ultimately use 1 foot 10 5/8. So instead of using all that pipe, because maybe I have to make more than one just dummy leg, I'm going to go ahead and subtract it by our lowest ordinate, which is 12. So this is how I got the smaller amounts, the smaller measurements: 7/8 for 0, 2 and 11 16ths for 2, 7 inches for 4, 9 7/8 for 6, and also 10 5/8 for 8. So now that we have our measurements, we have our ordinate distance. Now let's go ahead and jump into the hands-on portion of it. We're actually going to lay it out. So like I stated earlier in the part 1 of this video, I'm going to show you how to lay all this out with easy tools. All this can easily be bought at like a Harbor Freight. So I have my torpedo level, my 2-foot square, a tape measure, and this is a 50-foot tape. Also, I'm going to use my soapstone because in case I want to cut with a torch, if I use a Sharpie, that heat's actually going to dissipate the Sharpie. So I like using soapstone because when cutting with a torch, it's easier for me to see my line. Like earlier, like I said, you want to find your radius, right? Which in this case for 8-inch pipe is going to be 4 5/16. So I take my 2-foot square and I butt up against the side and keep it on the top, and I have my torpedo level here. So I want to make sure my torpedo level is damn near right on the money. So about right there. I go from here, which is the measurement on the outside of pipe, to my radius, which I know is 4 5/16. Make a mark. Okay, once I have that established, I come back here and I do the same thing. And all this does is to establish my zero. So like I said, I'm gonna work my square and my torpedo level until I get right there on the money. That looks fairly good, right around there. So now that I have my 2 marks in place, I'm gonna take my 2-foot square and I'm gonna go right here in the center. So I have my 2 radius marks made, right? So what I'll do is I'll do a little practice line to make sure I'm in the center of my radius marks. And I'll just draw my line here, all the way down, and that will be my 0. Okay? So from there, what I'll do is I'll take a soft tape, just like this, and I know that my ordinate distance between the ordinates is 3 3/8. So essentially you can mark 2 at the same time, right? So for me, I put it right here in the center of my mark for my 0, and I go 1, 2, 3, from right here to 3/8, which is 1/8, quarter, 3/8, make a mark. And I also come on this back side, 1, 2, 3, and I make my mark right at 3 3/8. Come back to this back side here, where my other mark is, do the same thing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, come right here at the 3/8 mark. 1, 2, 3, right here at the 3/8 mark. And it's the same thing all the way around. I take my 2-foot square, I line up my marks, boom, knock it out. That's 2 and 2 on that side, and I just go work my way all the way around. So as you can see, I'm actually utilizing this so I can lay out multiple ordinates at the same time. So I just laid out my 2. This will essentially be 4, this one will be 6. Same thing back here. One, 2, 3. Another good thing to have is a sharp soapstone. That way you have a good soapstone line to reference to, right? So 1, 2, 3. Earlier, when we laid out our 0, we went ahead and laid out 2 on both sides, right? So I just did 6, now I'm at 2. So all I need to do now is mark in between 2 and 6, which would be 4. That's my last order I need to mark out. 1, 2, 3. And we're right there on the motherfucking money. Give or take a 16th. So we have all of our ordinates laid all the way around the pipe, all 8 of them. So now what we're gonna do is gonna start using our ordinate distant measurements, right? Our ordinate measurements for 0 all the way to 8. So as you can see on this 8-inch piece of pipe, I have a bevel. So what I did was I went ahead and threw a wraparound line on the front, on the top of it. That way I have a hard line to measure from. So start right here at 4. Since it's on top, we have 7 inches. So I'm gonna come here, start my line. Oop. So I put my, let's just say 3, I burned 3, so it's plus 7 inches. It's gonna be 10, right there. 2 is at 2 11/16. Come to 2, I just like to burn 3, so plus 2 11/16 would be 5 11/16 in this case. Then I'll come over here. So I try to knock out multiple ordinates at the same time, right? Wherever I'm at in the pipe. So 6 is at 9 7/8. So again, I'll burn my 3 right here. So I know that plus 9 7/8 will really ultimately give me 12 7/8 of an inch. So right there. Then I'll work my way all the way around the pipe. So 0, that's 7/8 right there. So I come right here, make my mark at 7/8. 2 is at 2 11/16. Burn 3. 4 is at 7. Burn my 3 right here. And you can burn whatever you want. I just know that certain tape measures have this little gap in between the end and the start of it. So what I like to do, I like to burn a few inches. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to kill you. So 6 is at 9 7/8. I'll burn 3 right here. Make my mark. Then I get to 8. So 8 is at 10 5/8. I'll burn my 3. That gives me 13 5/8. So all you online QCs don't come from me when I'm saying inches, because I like to do everything in feet and inches. But for this exercise, I'll just do inches. So go over here to 13, right at 5/8. There we go. And we're marked all the way around. So now what we're going to take is something easily manipulative, like an old portaband blade or 100-foot tape, soft tape, tailor's tape, whatever you have readily available to you. And we're going to start connecting the dots. So you want to put that, make your marks, and it's going to look kind of like a robot did it, you know, kind of a more or less straight line. So what I'll do is I'll make sure I get all the points here, and I'll start here at 6 and 8 because that's what's on top right now. Like I said, something that's easily manipulative, something that easily get that curvature of the pipe itself. Okay. So then I'll work my way around. Okay. Right there, there's my mark. There's my other mark right here. It probably might be better if I do it from this side. So get that back side. That mark right there. Like I said, it's gonna look like a little V shape, so when you're cutting it, you know, you can put a little curve on it right here, right? And I work my way around. So this one right here, I'm gonna try doing a big stretch. Like I said, it's a little bit better, easier when you have someone to help you. But for this video, I'll be by myself, so. There you go, you kind of match it up like this, right? Right there. Make my marks, line up together. So I'll come on this side right here. I'm gonna explain why I'm doing this here in just a second. Let me roll this up real quick, make it a little easier. Then we got all the way up to 2. So what I like to do here, come on this side. Make the marks match. And got my last mark I need to make. So 0 to 2, like that. Like I said, it looks like a kind of a robot did, so what I'll do once I do that is I'll kind of take my soapstone, I'll draw like a little circle right, and start connecting them like that. Just like that, right? This will be the back side of your 90. And once you get to your throat of your dummy leg, which will be the bottom half of your 90 on your type 1, kind of make that little curvature. So now you're ready to cut it out, right? So typically if I'm cutting it out with a torch, I will cut above the line. That way if I need to wash it or grind down or something, I still have that room to play, right? So that's gonna be it for the type 1 8-inch dummy leg on a 10-inch 90. Stay tuned for more. Also, after this video, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Trade Masters. Thanks for joining.